Thank you for coming this far with me. You've successfully completed the course Transform Your Inner Critic into Your Inner Best Friend in 12 simple and practical steps. I really hope you've gained some useful and practical ideas from this course that you can apply in your everyday life. The one thing that I really want you to know right now is that this is not something that you just do in a course and it's done and it's changed. As I'm sure you know, it takes practice. I'm 50. I've had 50 years of programming to undo in terms of being able to transform the voice inside my head. And as I've said through the course, it does still amp up. It does still give me a hard time. But because I now see it as a different character or as just a part of myself, I can use the compassionate, wise part of me to turn towards that inner critic and go, hey, what's happening? Tell me more. What's going on? So in the course, we went through the role of the inner critic and started to just develop the awareness just starting to really notice in your day-to-day life, when does that voice switch on and start to give you a hard time? And we went through a process for meeting your inner critic. It really helps to create a character or an identity out of your inner critic so that you can start to see it as just a part of yourself. And meeting the inner critic helps us to develop compassion. And we looked at 7 types of inner critic. There may be more. You may discover more. And there's no need to get bogged down in the types of criticism and analyzing what your critic is saying to you in that way. It's just helpful to grow your awareness. And going through an example and just looking at what does your inner critic say to you? How does it criticize you? What does it criticize you for? Mine was shame. A lot of shaming around fitting in and being a good girl. We explored the energy of language. We were raised with sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And in some ways, I believe this is true and not true. It's true if we learn to listen through the words to what's really underneath, and also to just have that awareness around that words do have an impact on people. It does have an impact on our energy and how we feel and how we impact other people. We went through emotional literacy and the idea that the more feeling words that we know, genuine primary feelings, the more that we start to grow our compassion and empathy, both for ourselves and for other people. So thinking through the different situations that occur in your life and just naming your feelings can make a really big difference and help you to emotionally self-regulate when you're in a difficult situation and you're emotionally out of balance. And we went through the universal human needs that connect all humans across era, culture, gender, no matter where we are in the world, if it's something that all humans share. And the idea that this is what drives human behavior. Everything that we are doing is trying to meet a need. And the feelings are the body's feedback loop, the way of letting us know when we're experiencing our needs as fulfilled or not fulfilled. And by looking at our different situations that happen in our daily life and just connecting with our longings, the needs, longing for space, for peace, for ease, for flow, connection, love, companionship, understanding, to be heard. Connecting with those, and life starts to flow more for us. So it's the same again with the inner critic. The inner critic is just using the languaging and way of speaking to us that we've always been spoken to. So starting to listen through that and notice, what are the longings here? What are the needs? And then a way of replacing our self-criticism. Rather than just having this empty void, how do we continue to motivate and protect and encourage ourselves is through compassionate self-correction. So looking at our thoughts, noticing that a lot of it is about what we think of ourselves, what we think other people think of us, and then changing the shoulds and the shouldn'ts into the coulds. Reviewing things that have happened and going, okay, so I can do this differently next time. And that way we start to grow different neural pathways, and we prepare ourselves for, we kind of create our future, actually, the future that we want to be living. So reflecting on your example, reviewing it, and go and kind of making peace with it. How would I do this differently if it came around again? We talked about leaning into our shadows, that it's not about suppressing the inner critic and shutting it down or putting it in a box or a prison. It's about turning towards it. If we can't turn towards pain and conflict, we can't grow our compassion. So it's developing our tolerance for painful communication, turning towards the shadow sides of ourselves, and again, exploring what are the needs here, what are the feelings. And one helpful tip is to make a character out of those shadow parts of yourselves, like we did with the inner critic. If you've got habitual feelings that come up like helplessness or hopelessness or despair, create characters out of that so that you can then start to turn towards those characters with compassion. And we played with the idea of a compassionate self-image, that there's this wise being inside of us, the person that we're becoming, that we can sort of start to pull ourselves into the future, the person that we really want to be in the world and in ourselves. What are the qualities? So those 4 beautiful qualities of the wise mind and the strength and the fortitude, and starting to really connect with that so that this becomes your inner best friend. That when the inner critic ramps up, turning towards the inner critic with love and care, and then supporting the compassionate self-image to step in and take that place. And then we went through what to do in the heat of the moment when we flipped our lid, we're losing control, we want to bring ourselves back into self-regulation. We went through some ways of doing that with the breath and with the rain meditation of recognizing, allowing, inquiring, nourishing, and just knowing that we're not perfect and there's no right and wrong, and it's just a journey. So we just keep practicing, keep trying, keep bringing ourselves back into self-regulation. Those neural pathways grow in the brain, and it starts to become the go-to, the default, the thing that we do when we notice that we're losing our cool. And then the idea of gratitude for the self-appreciation, and committing to something like a 10-day challenge where every day for 10 days you turn towards yourself and notice 10 things that you've done that day that you can express gratitude for, and what needs were met in what you did, and what feelings arose out of that. And that again starts to grow those positive neural pathways to help you to feel better and more fulfilled in yourself. So I do hope this course has been helpful for you, that you've downloaded the resource. There should be a whole booklet there of the 12 practices. And please do continue to apply them in your daily life. Use a journal, connect with a buddy who gives you a bit of accountability and that you can exchange with each other. Here are some ways to stay connected to me. And please feel free to write any comments or questions in the Q&A section. I do congratulate you for coming through this course. For me, as I've said through the course many times, it is the foundation of life. And if you can change your relationship with yourself, you can change the world. Thank you so much for joining me in this course.